The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Welcome to episode 3 of Growing Business and Community with the Upward Niagara Chamber of Commerce. We've made it to episode 3 of our podcast, and this time I have a microphone to hold. So we're here in an actual brick and mortar store in the village of Lewiston, our first time on location, and we're here with our chairman of the board, Matt Villnave. Our board is run by volunteers, and we're lucky to have Matt volunteer into this position. In August of last year, he served in a few different roles on our executive board committee, and now as chairman, he's helped us lead the chamber into a new direction, helping us create a new strategic plan and really carry out the goals of the chamber. He's also a small business owner with the store Trait-Carre here on Center Street, as well as the owner of Lewiston Digital. He helps us with all of our technical needs, from our copy machine to our IT needs, our phone system, you name it, he's in our office. He's volunteered a lot of times with the chamber, and we are really grateful to have him as a just kind of the guy that we need to call pretty much every day. Your wife probably is sick of our texts, don't you think? Our emails. Sarah's a great sport.
I can confirm that. Yeah.
So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Matt. He's going to talk a little bit about his role as chairman and how he's helped navigate the chamber to a new direction, including our new name as Upward Niagara Chamber of Commerce.
Sure. It's been so I started as chair almost a year ago now. Prior to taking on this role, I think my crowning achievements with the chamber were two things. Like, one, we brought beer to the Harvest Festival.
That's right, yeah.
And two, we introduced a smelt eating competition at one point.
True.
And it was hard to top those, but I think this year we did it. I'm really happy with what our board has been able to do this year with the chamber. Obviously, the most visible thing was a name change and rebrand. And the whole time, though, I kind of had this mantra in my head, like this. By the end of the year, I hope this is the least interesting thing we do, because, a rebrand and changing a name is one thing, but what did we actually do? And I'm really happy where we are about halfway through the year this year, thinking about how it started. And how it started, honestly, was just listening to members, listening to stakeholders in the community, listening to board members, and coming up with a plan to kind of transform the chamber to address the actual needs people have expressed, and that comes in a few different forms. One of those forms is a tiered membership, and not taking a one-size-fits-all approach to being a member of the chamber. Halfway in, I think, in this first year, that's been a success. We've forged a lot of new relationships. As a result, we have a lot of new programming and events to kind of cater to different people who just have different needs. Another interesting thing that we've embarked on, which is kind of a passion of mine, is just more marketing of our region. Being a retail owner, I can tell you that businesses like mine depend on people walking past the store and then hopefully coming in, right? We are a small community, which is great. We love the fact that we live in a small community, but small communities don't have a lot of shoppers. So we kind of rely on folks coming from other places to enjoy Lewiston, and then hopefully coming in our stores and visiting our businesses. So a lot of good things are happening with the chamber. You set lofty goals, and I think you kind of stand there shocked when you're actually getting the stuff done, because saying you want to do things is one thing, actually getting there is another. today is actually a really good example. We've been saying we wanted to do a legislative lunch. We've been saying we wanted to engage our elected leaders more and advocate for our members with, issues that pertain to the economy, and today's the day, right? So we're doing our first legislative lunch today, which is just a new program for us, and we're super excited about it. We have a lot of people registered, and it should be a great success. So
I think we are looking great too. I think at the beginning of the year, actually this has started last year with our rebrand and talking about a new name, which has been actually years in the making. It's not like it just came about. It's taken some time to develop. But I think at the beginning of the year, when we were really in the nitty-gritty of this process, including our strategic plan, the staff was a little scared, to say the least, because of all of these new things we were looking to do. But we wanted to elevate the chamber. And I think one of the great things is our new membership tiers has given us a new direction. And it's really helped engage those higher tier levels who are more involved, meaning they have more aspirational outlook for our chamber and for the region, and really picking their brain as to what we can do to help them, what we can do to move this economy forward. And they've really helped us strengthen our goals to get there. We've done a lot. So not only the legislative lunch coming up later this afternoon, but we were able to convene our stakeholders together just in a casual way, a stakeholder dinner. That was something new that we also did. So I think these new things that we are rolling out throughout the year is just going to make us stronger. And we really haven't given our membership an opportunity to really see our membership tiers first. We've been hard at work really adopting these early adopter businesses and organizations to come on board at these tier levels and join us in really exploring what we can do as a chamber. This year, I think, is a transitional year in us trying these new things, making them happen. And having these early adopters in our new membership tier with the help of the board is really going to set the course for next year. It's much more than just adding beer to a festival and smell eating contest, although this year people asked where that smell eating contest went. We didn't do it this year.
yeah, it was a great idea.
It definitely was. So tell us a little bit more about our board and the makeup of the board. We actually have an opportunity for some board seats being open this for next year, and the process starts in July, which is right here. We're in July now, so I think that a lot of people are a little unsure about what a board of directors is and what their commitment would be for our board. So if you can just tell a little bit about the makeup of our board and how you got involved and how it's benefited you as a person. I know his benefit has been working with Suzanne, Susie, and myself, of course, but we have a great board, and Matt leads them.
Yeah, so how'd I get started? Man, it was like 8 or 9 years ago, I think, at this point. Yeah, I wanted to find a way to be active in the community that didn't involve getting into politics or elected office. And
Well, little did you know.
yeah, well, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just not for me. And kind of my age, where I am in my life, where I am in my career, this is kind of the path that made sense for me, in terms of just getting to work on issues that I felt were important as a local business owner. Our board has changed a lot, I think, even in the last year. Some of our new board members come from pretty interesting places, and they bring different talents. We try to keep a nice balance of small business owners to nonprofit, people who are involved in nonprofits, and then people who are involved in larger organizations. It's also interesting to kind of have people who work in a more regional way. One person I'll cite that was new this past year is Matt DiCamillo from DiCamillo Bakery, and he's an asset to our board because they have locations in communities across Western New York, which gives us an added perspective. When looking at issues, sometimes it's easy to get stuck in the little Lewiston bubble. It's nice to be able to have some fresh perspective. So yeah, but the calendar calendar year flies by, and we'll be looking for members or board of directors, soon. So, by all means, we will be trying to recruit people.
Definitely. I think one of the aspects of our board you just mentioned is very interesting. We now have somebody who has a larger scope of business and economic outlook. And actually, at our last board meeting, we did get into a really great discussion regarding the economy and how inflation is happening and how it's affecting spending. And we had some really great insight from Matt DiCamillo, actually, regarding how that's not just here, not just in our microcosm of the communities we represent, but on a state level, national level, and it's not going away. So the nice thing is our board really took some time to talk that through and see what we can do to help our small businesses and really have a different approach to what the economic climate is for our members. And I think that's something great because our board is comprised of a lot of small business owners. A lot of some of them come from a corporate background or work in a corporate position. Some of them represent nonprofits as well. And it's nice that our board has a mix of those backgrounds to be able to bring to the table to have these meaningful discussions. One of the things as a small business owner that you deal with is the changing way people spend their money. And we've noticed that we've gotten through COVID, which is one huge hurdle, but now we're feeling the after effects of COVID and how spending happens. Can you tell us a little bit about being a small business here on Center Street? I mean, obviously you have two businesses that you're navigating, a digital business that is doing a lot of marketing and IT things and some great things that way. But then also this business as Trait-Carre is navigating a different type of customer. Can you tell us how it is to be a Center Street? Could be any street in Western New York, Main Street, Center Street, but a street in a business in a business district, and how that's affecting, what you see with your changes with that.
Yeah, so, I've been doing this now long enough to have seen like a shift for sure in the way people are spending their money, and honestly not spending their money, right? So people are making decisions in the current economic situation based on a variety of factors, but a boutique like mine, a specialty shop, we have our customers, our regular customers, and of course we have people visiting the community that stop in and like the shop. But the things I sell, I compete with, going to the Tops or wherever and buying a big pack of Irish Spring. And, you can buy 12 bars of Irish Spring for the cost of one bar of my soap.
That's true. But
so
should you buy Irish Spring?
you shouldn't, because it's technically not even soap. But but that's what we're up against. When people are making decisions, I like to think of my store. I put it out there as we sell simple luxuries, right? Simple luxuries are what people kind of take off their list, when they're prioritizing in terms of spending money. So, as a business owner, you can't sit idle and just watch people change their patterns. You got to change up your product offerings, maybe offer more discounts or creative ways to, off whether it's quantity discounts or bundles or things like that. You just have to respond to the changing landscape. But I said it earlier, what's more important than anything for business owners is feet on the street, getting people walking by our businesses. Many of our businesses in Lewiston are also online who have, brick and mortar stores. And that does help a lot. It's there's no reason why I can only sell to people walking by my store, right? So we do online sales as well. We have a soap of the month program where we ship you soap every month. So, there's different things like that. I know other business owners have been very successful online as well. But the reality is it's about just getting people in front of your store.
Right.
It's the most important thing. And then everything else is just kind of presents itself as those people get in your store. But I've noticed in talking to other business owners, kind of feel the same thing. People are just a little more careful with how they spend their money. One thing that has been nice for our region is the Canadian customers coming back over. And they are excited to be here, and we're excited to have them. So it's a nice thing, and that kind of like binational economy. It's just super important for small businesses here. They have Walmart over there, right? But what they don't have is my store and other stores. So as Americans, of course, we like going over to Niagara on the Lake and checking out their spots, and you know, the feeling's mutual. They like coming to places like Lewiston and seeing things that are a little different.
Yeah, I think that is also one thing that our board realized is that we have to step up our marketing game as a chamber as a whole. Where in the past we really didn't do a lot of strategic marketing. We may have did some advertising around events, maybe a few generic posts to try to get some membership. But this year we took an approach to really change the marketing strategy of a more tourist focus. This area is completely a tourist industry, and a lot of the communities represent have these attractions and business districts and need a little bit more help. And that's something that the board decided was important, made sure that we had some extra funds in our budget to support that. And while we may not see immediate results right now, we have a strategic plan to really make our marketing efforts work and align ourselves with our partners as well. We work with Destination Niagara Falls USA, the tourism marketing organization for our county. We work with the Niagara Falls National Heritage Area, who brings the Discover Niagara shuttle to our areas. We also work with the Niagara County Economic Development Center. There's a lot of different areas that we work with to make these things happen, but I think this year is more on an elevated level, and we're excited about what's to come from that. You know, it's going to take some time. Our tour season actually has just begun. School just let out last week, and we are already noticing an increase in people coming, but you're right, it's getting the money from them. And our Canadian partners are very important. We've definitely made sure that now that the border is much more accessible after COVID and restrictions, that we're getting those people here on our streets. But I think the marketing aspect is an exciting one for us because there's so much in this area to market, and every day I think there's something else for us to do. Our chamber's been great about marketing around our events, but you know, being able to do things the entire year and have a plan is really important. That's something that Matt's helped us with his strategy and looking especially with social media and where we can put ourselves online. He definitely has an expertise in that, and something we'll be working on as the year progresses. Can you tell us a little bit more about our strategy going forward for the marketing part? Because Matt's really been a driver behind that.
Sure. You know, the way we really started looking at the marketing was simple. You know, just read our mission. I noted, I think, back in August that, you know, the word promote is in our mission twice.
Right.
And I think we should budget accordingly. The board of directors shared that vision and realized that we simply were not funding something that is critical to our mission. And kind of the listening tour we did several surveys for different reasons, the rebranding and then our strategic planning. We surveyed our members and stakeholders and elected officials. And marketing was up there, promoting the region, and it's for the reason I mentioned. Feet on sidewalks helps businesses, whether you're a restaurant, whether you're a boutique or whatever, or even a service. You know, we have people who do all kinds of different things on Center Street here and in Youngstown and all the other places. So how do we get those people here? So we really took a holistic approach. You know, and the easiest thing was to do the more traditional marketing initiatives, and you know, things like advertising our region in the visitor guide, which you know is the big piece for Niagara Falls USA, everybody gets one basically who shows up here, and it makes people aware of these small communities just a 10-minute drive to the north. And it offers something different than the traditional Niagara Falls experience, which you should definitely do, the state parks and the Maid of the Mist and all of it. But there is more here. And we share the goal of Niagara Falls USA in extending stays and boosting our economy. From a marketing perspective, though, we need content. So the board budgeted for content acquisition this year that we'll be able to use for the next several years, pictures, videos, all kinds of content that we can use in digital ads, print ads, the whole thing. We'll be starting some very targeted digital ads, geofenced ads, targeting people that are visiting the Niagara Falls area. So hopefully we can get them to, they're already here, they're only 10 minutes away. So let's tell them about Lewiston and get them, and Youngstown, and get them down here. But also, looking at the radius, our region is worth driving to. Yeah. We all visit other small communities, spend a weekend there, spend a day there, and we want Lewiston to be that type of community that you want to go visit as well. And it's a great place. We have a lot here. We just have to tell the story. Yeah. So, it's a start this year. I'm really interested to see, what conclusions we can come to after measuring the results of some of these efforts. But, it's a start. Mm-hmm. And I think we've transformed the way, our organization is going to invest in this particular, area of what we do. It just benefits such a large cross section of our members. And the other thing to remember too is, we're not just Lewiston and Youngstown and Sanborn and Ransomville and kind of northern Niagara County. We have a lot of members in Niagara Falls. Yeah. So it's really just a complete full circle type of thing, whether people are going from Lewiston to Niagara Falls to Lewiston, they just got to think regionally. Mm-hmm. And Niagara County has a lot. So, hopefully we start telling these stories more. People see some just really attractive content that paints our village in a nice light.
All right, but now we're here. Since we're here in the store, since we're here in Trait-Carre, why don't you tell us a little bit of how you came up with the name? Because it's taken me a couple times to get the name right when you first open, and now it flows out of my mouth. It's easy to say, easy to remember, and actually it's been a really great way to tell people about the store with the name. So tell us a little bit about how you came up with the name, and then take us on a little tour around the store, what you have and what you have to offer, new things coming in.
Sure. Around the time we were thinking about doing this, it was really like me and my daughter Mariska who came up with this idea. Like, it started as just an online thing, and she was going to learn about business, and now we have a store, right? So, but at the time I was doing some genealogy type stuff, and I traced my family back to the 1600s and in France, and the first individual that came to North America from France in my family in the 1600s, his name was Mathurine Villnave. And he was a teenager, and essentially if you served for 3 years for the French military to defend New France against attack, they would give you land. And the neighborhood where they were giving those soldiers land was called Trait-Carre. So it's kind of cool. We got to visit that neighborhood, and we visited his house. His second house is still standing, actually. So that was kind of an easy one for me. So we just got the name from that. But yeah, like we started online, and we're just doing some kind of vendor market type stuff for a while. And we kind of hung it up for a little bit because, children lose interest really quickly. I think so. Like, well, I'm not going to sell soap on my own. So, but then, we just had an opportunity later on. A great location came up in Lewiston, and right on Center Street, right next to the Frontier House. Couldn't it be better? So I just kind of split the space in half. It's half office space, half retail up front, and it's been great. It's been a kind of a family business, and it's products that we're all kind of passionate about. I've always liked scents, so our soaps, candles, aromatherapy products, essential oils, skincare. So we have kind of a wide variety now of everything. So one of the things that's kind of popular here is our soap bar. So people, environmental, awareness is kind of important to us. So people come in, instead of like getting the plastic disposal, and just throwing out plastic stuff from Bath and Body or whatever, they bring their containers in and just refill with our natural organic soaps. So it just reduces waste, and it's also chemical-free, nice soap. So yeah, and we just kind of keep changing. We like to support a lot of small makers, a lot of local makers, so we meet people out at markets and things like that. And then if the products are good, we just hopefully can carry their stuff in the store and, just be another outlet for other local small businesses.
Yeah, it's actually great because I noticed one of our Harvest and Hops, the festival with the beer, the Lewiston Harvest and Hops, one of our vendors, Nichols City Alchemy, has their product here. So it's nice to be able to see some of our vendors that we have at some of our festivals and events, and you actually carry their product here. Tell us a little bit about how you make those relationships happen.
Well, like I said, a lot of it comes from, there's two main ways. One, I'll see them at different markets selling their stuff. In their case, one of my customers came in and was like, "Are you familiar with Nichols City Alchemy?" I'm like, "No." Like, well, you got to check it out. So, go online and check it out. And then, I would say about half of the new makers that are local that I find probably come from customers. Like, I wish I could get that here, because they're getting other stuff here and they want like a one-stop shop, which I'm happy to be. So yeah, we make those connections, and we try to use as much local as possible. Most of my like Trait-Carre branded handmade soaps, they're made right in Syracuse by a great soap maker, Kingsley Street. People always ask me, like, "Do you make all this stuff?" No, no, I don't have time for that. The chamber keeps me too busy. Right. But yeah, we have just a wide variety of makers and different types of projects. We're really curators. We test and just try to find products that are interesting. We don't like a lot of duplication. So if you see different bars of soap from different people, there's probably a reason for that. There's probably something special about certain lines. Dermatology is an important piece of what we do here. Some people have sensitive skin or different skin issues, and so we try to have products that cater to different types of skin types and things like that. And then there's some people who just want to come in and they want the Bill's Mafia soap. So, yeah. So, and the same with candles, different candle brands, ranging from, very inexpensive, our own candle company candles, all the way up to our more expensive higher end candles like Ranger Station, and everything in between. So we try to cater to a pretty wide customer base who have, different interests, and different things that are important to them.
Well, first of all, thank you, Sarah, his wife, for lending him to us, because we do keep him very busy. So how he has the time to be able to volunteer for us and run two businesses, as well as volunteer for some other organizations, is beyond me. So we are grateful for all the work that you do for the chamber. And I'm going to give the microphone back over to you. We're going to wrap this up. Thank you for joining us with Upward Niagara Chamber of Commerce for our growing business and community for our new podcast. Matt, why don't you take us out and let everybody know where they can come to visit, what your address is, and where they can shop online as well.
Sure. So I am located at 480 Center Street, right next to the little yellow house in the Frontier House. And online, it's Trait-Carre.com. Good luck.
Why don't you spell it?
Trait-Carre.com.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the little accent on the E. Google doesn't care.
Yeah.
So
I think there's an actual word for that.
there is. I don't know it, and I have to Google how to do that on my keyboard almost every time that I type it. So, but it's not France here.
That's
so
right. Okay.
it's still unusual for me. So.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Tune in next time for another episode of Growing Business and Community.